When participating in a word recall task, it is often seen that participants remember certain words in the list better than other words. Although some words may be easier to remember as a result of personal ties with the word, for the majority of participants we notice an effect called the serial position curve. This effect demonstrates how words at the beginning and the end of the list are recalled more frequently than those in the middle of the list due to the primacy and recency effects. The primacy effect is caused by the tendency for people to repeat the first few words in the list within their mind, causing the information to be stored in their long-term memory. Conversely, the recency effect is a result of words at the end of the list being stored in short-term memory, which allows for the storage of 7 items on average. Words in the middle of the list, however, are not remembered nearly as easily, as they are displaced too far from both the start and the end of the list. In the homework assignment of week 4, we had to have a couple of people take a memory test and see if we could spot the primacy and recency effect. For this video, we have done it again, but on a much larger scale. We got 44 people of all ages to do the test, which means that we have quite a decent sample size. The test is as follows. You are shown 15 words in order for about 2 seconds each. After all the words have been shown, the goal is to write down as many of them as you can remember. Considering the primacy and recency effect, you would expect to see that the first and last couple of words would be remembered the most often. This is indeed what we see, but it is not as clear-cut as you would expect. There's a very strong primacy effect, with the first word being remembered 77% of the time, compared to the average of all the words of 52%. When we look at the middle part, you can see a sudden increase at the 8th word, as if it is a second primacy effect. We do think that that is indeed the case. People tend to divide the list into multiple groups, and the 8th word is likely often the start of the second group, causing a smaller but noticeable second primacy effect. Near the end of the graph, you can also see the recency effect, with the percentages going up again after the 12th word. This is not nearly as strong as the primacy effect, but it is still quite clear. Memory is known to get worse with age, which we would expect to see quite clearly in a test like this. In this graph, you can see 2 lines. The blue line represents the people that are under 35 years old, and the red line represents the people above 35 years old. The younger people remembered every word more often than the older people, which is no surprise. The difference between the graphs is more interesting. When you look at the 8th word, where the second primacy effect occurred, you can see that the older group has no increase there, while the younger group has a huge increase. It is possible that the younger group applies the strategy of grouping the words more, leading to this difference. The difference between the older people and the younger people is also very visible when you look at the average number of words that were remembered. The average for everyone was 7.8 remembered words, which is slightly above the expected average of 7. This is likely, for a lot of the participants were between 17 and 25 years old, which is the prime age for doing well on this test. For the participants younger than 35, the average number of words remembered was an impressive 9.1, whereas for the participants older than 35, it is still a respectable 6.2. In the end, the results were what we expected, apart from a few little things, like the 14th word being remembered more often than the very last word. This is likely because a sample size of 44 people is still very small for a proper scientific test. There can also be a huge variety within the results of the same person taking the test twice. For example, one person got 4 words the first time he took the test, and 11 words the second time. What's most important is that we were able to show you the primacy and recency effect in practice, which together form the serial position curve. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel to become part of the Memory Squad. See you in class!